Hey YouTube, this is Wuam back with the state of professional wrestling part 4, and this should be my last video that I'm going to make on this. And again, these are only my opinions, and I've got my bullet points written down, not a script. Now, I shot this. I have shot this video, but the video was corrupt for some reason, so now I'm reshooting it. This number 4. So I'll just. I believe video number 3. My last video was the buyout. Vince McMahon buying WCW. There's a lot of rumors and stuff floating around about how that happened, and I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to get into what happened right after Vince McMahon bought the WCW, and they tried to turn it into an invasion angle where the WCW was going to invade the WWF at the time. And really, the only star from the WCW that sort of went along with Vince and the WWF was Booker T, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Other than Booker T, there was really a lot of mid-card talent that nobody really cared about. No disrespect to the guys, but that's just the fact. It didn't work at all. They even tried to put a quote WCW match on WWF television, and they stunk the joint out. I can't even remember who it was. Maybe it was Buff Bagwell or somebody. I don't know. Don't care. It was terrible. So anyway, after that, the invasion angle faded out. They at the time I started watching. It was the only game in town, so I had to watch the WWF at the time, and they had the usual cast of characters, I guess. They had big names. They had Stone Cold, who was limited, who didn't wrestle. He was an enforcer at the time because of his neck injury. Of course, they had Taker, Chris Benoit, The Big Show, Edge, Triple H, Eddie Guerrero, Randy Orton, and yes, I'm reading these because I can't remember them all. See, and then Batista and Ric Flair. Ric Flair came into that's another story, but I'll just say Ric Flair came into the WWE in 2002, if I remember correctly, and did not plan on wrestling whatsoever, but they people around him encouraged him, including Vince McMahon and Stephanie and Shane, and Ric Flair became a full-time wrestler again. And of course, this is not a tribute to Ric Flair, but I was reading some names, but I'll just say that Ric Flair, Batista, Triple H, and Randy Orton formed the group Evolution, sort of like a takeoff of the Horsemen, and they didn't take themselves so seriously that they thought they were anywhere near the four horsemen, because they weren't, and they knew it. But it worked pretty well. It was okay. I didn't mind it. But just a few more names here. Shawn Michaels was still in. RVD, the Dudley Boys, Kane, Mr. Kennedy, which is a very wasted talent. Very, very good on the mic and very, very good in the ring. And I'll mention another name real quick. And that was, gosh, I'm going to forget it here real quick. Let's see. Wow. Sorry, Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman. I have no clue why this guy who could work so well, and yeah, he started off in, I guess he started off in Raven's Flock in the WCW, sort of started off, but Kidman was with the WWF, and I'll never understand why Kidman never became a big name like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, which we all know what Chris Benoit did, but great. I mean, one of the best workers I've ever seen, and just totally committed to his art. And I never understood why Billy Kidman never really made it big. He was so good. But anyway, Kofi Kingston and Chris Jericho, who was already there anyway. During this time, let's just fast forward to, I watch the product every week, but I'm going to fast forward to 2008, where Vince McMahon, in a shoot, told Ric Flair that he had to retire. And they set everything up to where Flair was going to wrestle Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania 24. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2008. I know that. I know it was 2008. It was if you lose, you retire match. Flair has to. If Flair loses, he has to retire. Well, the night before, Triple H put Ric Flair into the Hall of Fame, which was just awesome. Yeah, words can't describe it. And the next night, Sunday night, WrestleMania, Flair and Shawn Michaels put on a clinic. There were a couple little things about the match that I didn't like, but other than that, I'll just let those things go. They put on a freaking clinic. And of course, Ric Flair lost due to a super kick by Shawn Michaels, and he had to retire. And the next night on Monday Night Raw, probably the greatest send-off of any professional athlete ever, Ric Flair. And it was, again, adjectives don't do it justice. It was awesome. It was great. It was just, and it was all a shoot. Every bit of it was a shoot. Every wrestler that came out there loved Ric Flair. Okay, now we're getting off Ric Flair, and we're going to go to, this is going to be the last part of the state of professional wrestling. And this part of the state of professional wrestling is what's wrong with professional wrestling today in 2017. Now, I'm just going to give my opinions. Shortly after Ric Flair retired, I reduced my cable bill by a lot because it was just too high, and I could not even get Monday Night Raw, so I never watched it. Starting about the year 2015, I restored my cable, and I could get Raw. And I noticed that nothing had really changed as far as what they did at the beginning. The same thing would happen. Somebody would come out, and I just mentioned some names that I can't remember all these names because I do not like professional wrestling today. I do not like the WWE today. That's my opinion. But the Wyatt family, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, which AJ wrestled with TNA for a while, and I was mildly interested in that. The New Day. Don't get me started. Kofi Kingston, was a great singles wrestler. Why in the hell did he get lumped into this New Day crap? I'm trying to be quiet here. Excuse me. The names that I have just mentioned, and I'm making sure I'm getting everything right. No disrespect whatsoever to any of these guys whatsoever, but I mentioned in one of my videos what a professional wrestling match should be, and also how to talk to get the crowd into it. It's real simple. There's baby faces and there's heels. You hate the baby faces. You love the baby faces, but you hate the heels. And of course, that's not very realistic in 2017. But back in the day, that's the way it was. And it's like they don't even try anymore. These guys, like the guys I just mentioned, they have to learn a script. And they have to go out and they have to, in front of a full house in any arena in America or wherever, and on TV, they have to memorize this script and go out and spout out these words that are written down for them by writers, and it totally turns the show into complete crap. It is so sanitized. It is. And I feel sorry for the guys. I really do, because I think these guys have a lot of talent. I mean, they put their bodies on the line every night. Excuse me. And then they have to go out and wrestle these matches that they have to go into the ring before the, way before the crowd ever gets there, obviously. And they have to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. Nothing's ever called in the ring. It's all rehearsed. And it's like, what? And to go even deeper on what's wrong with professional wrestling, I've already explained what a wrestling match is. Flair and Steamboat go 45 minutes and they call in the ring 5 high spots, 6 high spots, 7 high spots. Okay? Less is more, because it makes it more special. The high spots are more special. The high spots are like, wow, that must have really hurt, Oh my gosh, look at Steamboat. Look at Dusty. Look at Tully. Look at Arn. Anyway, but the matches are nothing but high spot after high spot after high spot after high spot. Hey, this looks really cool. Let's go out and do this tonight. And it's not special anymore. They're not listening to the crowd with that third ear anymore. They're just doing a rehearsed match that looks cool. And it don't work. It just don't work. I mean, what's next? Is somebody going to run somebody over with a steamroller to get the crowd to pop? Another thing, popping the crowd. Popping the crowd's huge. But the normal wrestling match today in 2017 usually runs between 8 and 10 minutes. And it's high spot after high spot after high spot after high spot, which means pop, 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 pop. You cannot pop an audience that many times and expect them to be absolutely engrossed in the match, because you are not telling a story whatsoever. Popping the crowd's easy. Popping the crowd when it's timed right, when you can hear the crowd with that third ear, that's That's what makes it special, the high spots where you pop the crowd. And that's what's lacking in professional wrestling today, and especially the WWE. Since 2015, I have not gotten past 8:30 because I'll mention one other thing, this is not new. They've been doing this for 20 plus years. The backstage vignettes, where they're supposed to be 2, 3, 4, 5 people, whoever, are having a conversation, and we're supposed to believe that there's not a camera there. Well, there's a camera there because it's on TV, and they're talking like it's a private conversation. That's ridiculous. I mean, please do not insult our intelligence any more than you already have. And did the WCW do it? Yeah, they did it too. And they keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and it's garbage. It is complete garbage. It doesn't work. Again, my opinion. What's wrong with professional wrestling? Well, I think I covered about everything. I'll just say in closing, these guys, like I mentioned, the Wyatt family, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, they're forced to be actors. And I mean real actors. I don't mean the kind that go out like in the day and cut a red hot promo. That's totally different from being an actor. A red hot promo can get people in seats in 2 seconds. But when you have to go out and every move is choreographed and everything you say is choreographed, it don't work. And I feel sorry for these guys that have to go out and do that, because they are not actors. They're not in Hollywood. They've not been trained to act, and that's what they have to do. So I'm going to close it right here, and I hope everyone enjoys my my 4 videos. This is going to be my last one on the state of professional wrestling. You can, of course, disagree with me. That's fine. That's the way the world works. Like I said, all of this, these bullet points and everything I've said, and put that down, is just my opinion. And I am an old school wrestling fan. So take that with a grain of salt. YouTube, thank you very much. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for putting up with my opinions. And I'm going to end it right here. God bless everybody. Everybody have a good night, and goodbye.